For today's tutorial, I'm going to be using a canvas board. For colours, I have phthalo blue, Prussian blue, ultramarine, phthalo green, titanium white, cadmium yellow and primary red. And I have also a jar of water, a spray bottle, a round brush, a filbert brush, a flat brush, a long flat brush, a wide flat brush. Also going to be using some rubbing alcohol. Also just have a dropper to kind of drop the alcohol. I'm just going to start off with a relatively wet canvas. So I'm just going to be spraying. Just so my colours go on easily and they can glide better. So starting off with my long flat brush, I'm going to be putting it in some water and I'm just going to be placing down some colour. So this is going to be a mostly all wet on wet painting. I'm going to grab some ultramarine. I'm going to leave some negative spaces because I do want to go in with some white as well as some orange. Go in with some Prussian blue. And I am not thinking about where I'm putting down the colour. I am truly just painting and seeing what happens as I go along. I'm going to grab some of that emerald green and I'm going to mix that in with the phthalo blue. I'm just going to be adding some of that there. Okay. I'm going to go in with my white and I'm going to put the white where it's already kind of got that negative space. And I'm also going to put in white where shh. So I'm taking the white and I'm also going to go where there was some blue. What I'm going to do is I'm going to spray this. There's a bit of white here that needs to be okay. Right, I'm going to spray this just lightly, not overly, and then I'm going to grab my wide flat brush. And where there's white, I'm going to start kind of brushing it out, I guess. I don't really know what's the word. But I don't want the colours to sit. Kind of just brushing them off and then removing excess colour. Okay, so you can go where the blue is. Just kind of okay. And I'm just taking my cloth, removing any of the excess paint so we can get a kind of smoother outcome. I'm kind of just dragging my brush in different directions. And again, drying off my brush as I go along. And just moving it very slowly to kind of get a soft effect. Probably going to go in with some more white so we can actually continue to highlight those areas. So I'm just going to dot in some white where I really do want there to be some color payoff. I'm just very quickly with my brush just brushing through that. Okay, and then doing the same over here. So my canvas is still wet right now, which is perfect because it allows all of the paints to blend without streaking through. And each time I'm just grabbing my brush, removing any of the excess. And I'm also just using different strokes to add different movements in to the painting. Okay, and then I'm gonna go in with this one. Okay, so now we kind of have this very soft and kind of moving background. I'm going to take some of the alcohol whilst that's still wet. So I'm going to, so I need to open it. Okay. And with my dropper, I'm going to pick it up and we're going to see how that reacts with the paint. Okay, now we're going to let that finish its effect. I'm going to give it a few minutes. Whilst that is drying up and reacting, I'm going to mix my orange. And I'm going to be making a watery mix of the orange. And I'm going to be kind of dotting that over the top of the blue as well. Okay, so grabbing, I've mixed that orange in, and now it's got quite a bit of water to it. I'm going to kind of lock that in. And then going in with the filbert brush again, but this time with a more thicker texture. And where I kind of see that I've splattered the orange, I'm going to go over and actually do some petals. Wait for the alcohol to dry before adding the petals, because the alcohol is actually refusing the petals in some way. So we're going to wait for this to completely dry. It's mostly dry now, so I can go in and do the orange petals. Yes, so you can see once you let it dry, now we can actually add some more. It's more vibrant and the color payoff is bigger. So I'm just going to be doing this in different places. Okay, and then I'm going to add some white to it as well. Grab some of the red, grab some of the yellow, then grab some of the white. Some petals I like to do smaller, some petals I like to do bigger. It just all really depends. And then kind of go over some of the petals to get this multicolored, because I really don't like it when petals look flat. I like it when they've got more than one color going on. Okay. I don't want to overdo it with the less is definitely more in this kind of painting. So I think I'm going to just do a tiny bit more. And then we're going to stop there. Okay. Now going in with my short flat brush, I'm going to be mixing some white into the blues that we had. So I'm going to be going for white and phthalo blue. And then I'm going to be going into dipping I'm holding my brush at an angle so that it doesn't come across too thick. I can control the stroke better as well at this angle. So I'm just going these really small petals. I'm going beside and just creating these thinner, you can kind of cluster them up together as well. I'm just going to repeat this until I feel like there is enough, and then I love the effect of having petals feel like they're almost floating in the sky. I just think it gives me such a relaxed feeling, and I love looking at it, so I love painting them. Then I'm going to add some of that emerald green, that phthalo green with the Prussian blue. I'm going to go in and kind of do these long strokes. So I was doing short and kind of fast, and now I'm going to be doing these long ones. I like to have variety in shapes. Okay, so I'm going to kind of see, I don't want to add too much of this. I'm just kind of grabbing. Like so. Okay, now that is done, I'm going to go over the same leaves with a stroke of white. And this is again just to add that so it doesn't become too flat in its appearance. So kind of have that two-tone color. To probably just mix a bit more orange and go for a tiny bit more splatter, just because I want it to stand out a bit more. I might make it a bit light, I might add some white. Okay, adding some water to that mix. And now going over where we had the original splatter, and I'm kind of not spreading it everywhere at once, only in select places. If you enjoyed today's painting tutorial, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what this painting reminds you of, and I'll see you in the next painting video.